who is in your Premier League 2020/21 Premier League team of the season? That's what today I am asking Dan from the CricketFieldEnd TV. Dan, how are you?
I'm all right, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. Dan firstly came on for a preview for the Burnley game just a couple of weeks ago. I've got him back on to do the Premier League team of the season today. So, Burnley fan then, sum up Burnley's season for us.
Probably the worst one yet in terms of Premier League football. It's been difficult. Obviously, everything that's gone on off the pitch has been hard work as well, with COVID and stuff. A team like Burnley needs a 12th man behind them. Although it didn't work when we did have fans in at the end of the season against Liverpool, unfortunately, and they stole the march to the Champions League. But unfortunately, we couldn't help you guys out with that. So I do apologise on behalf of our fan base. But yeah, our season's been so hit and miss, so up and down, injuries galore, and even when we have got people back, it's sort of not been the best. The way we've played, we've changed our tactics, sort of thing. Still 4-4-2 as you'd expect, but we've gone more pressing, which has left us more open at the back, which has cost us quite a lot this season. So yeah, I mean, I'm just happy to be in the Premier League again, and fingers crossed, this summer is going to be absolutely massive for us. The fact that we've already released Robbie Brady tells me that our board are confident that they can get a decent enough replacement in. So fingers crossed, not just that one replacement. I expect to see a bit of an influx at Burnley this season. So keep your eyes open.
Yeah. Sure. You know, Burnley, you're not a side to splash the cash, and to be honest, Sean Dyche, he does a pretty decent job there on very minimal input and kind of player input with in terms of money.
Yeah, he's done a remarkable job with the money that he's had, or the money that he's not had. It's probably easy to sum up the money that he hasn't had than what he has. It's been almost impossible. You'd expect from any other manager it would be impossible, but it seems to have worked for him. Obviously, I know there's all the rumours. Roy Hodgson going to Palace, and Dyche potentially could go in there. It's rumoured though that Palace have already inquired about his compensation fee, and we've said 3 million, and they've sort of gone, "No, you're all right."
Yeah.
So fingers crossed he signs that new deal. That in itself would be like a big signing this season. Keeping hold of a gaffer that believes in the squad, especially a squad that's been around now for donkey's years.
Yeah. Right, without further ado, we will get into your team of the season, and so we will start in goal with your 4-4-2. Who have you gone for in goal?
So I've had to go for Edison. I think, to be quite honest with you, he has been... It was a tough one, was this one, because it's so easy to give it to somebody like Edison. When you think of the team that Manchester City have got, you know, not a lot of teams go to Manchester City and really attack them and put that keeper under any sort of threat. This year, you can see that City's resolve's been tested quite a bit. You know, when they've come up against sides like they've come up against Leeds and been tested. So I based it on the fact that a few people have actually had a good go at Man City this year. I know they've done got the league and everything else, and obviously they've got the Champions League final coming up. But for me, I have to give it to him. It's also on the basis of the Golden Glove. So, I couldn't ask for a better keeper when it comes to sticking someone in there. And he can take a decent penalty, so I hear. So that's not too bad.
Yeah. Not like David De Gea. We've seen that's for sure. But yeah, fair enough. A lot of people have gone for Emi Martinez in for Aston Villa, but I think this is the first Edison we've had so far. But the next one, I like this. Only a few people. I thought more people would put this man in, but I like this, and all of you watching would like this as well. Who have you gone for at right back?
I've gone for Soufal. I think he's been absolutely brilliant. He's one of those unorthodox right backs. But he's so good at the job that he does. For me, looking at outside, I think of the job that when he came in, I reckon a lot of your fan base would have been like, right, who's this guy? He's not going to get much game time. Probably bench warmer.
Yeah.
Probably expecting someone like Fredericks to sort of sit in, or
yeah.
But he's come in and he's sort of just made that role his own, and he's been instrumental to you this season in the position that you've been. He's almost been a bit like, if I had to compare him to somebody, a bit like Kieran Trippier, where he's sort of got down the sides, likes to get forward, will actually get back. He's not a Patrice Evra that just bombs forward and stays there. He actually will get back. And yeah, that's what I like about him. I think he's also he won't take a prisoner as well. He's no. That's a solid thing for me. And as a defender, you've got to sort of be solid and a bit tough, because you're sort of like a wall. So yeah, I had to stick him in there because he's had a brilliant season, and I really rate him.
Yeah, I think all West Ham fans would pretty much agree with what you said there. I mean, yeah, more the season has gone on, the more his attacking game has improved, getting down, putting the crosses in. But of course, he's still got that defensive, offensive ability as well. But we'll move into your centre back pairing then. Who's the first of your two centre backs?
So I'm going to go for Ruben Dias as my first. He, for me, I mean, any defender that can come into a club and make John Stones look decent deserves to be in a team of the season. To be fair, John Stones, we all know he's not had the best of seasons. We all know that Man City have always had sort of, if any department's been sort of weak since losing Vincent Kompany, it's been the centre-back partnership at Manchester City. He's come in and he's been absolutely solid. He's turned John Stones into a better player. Whether we see that on international level in the Euros is yet to be seen. But yeah, he has to be in there. And for me, Ruben Dias is not just in my team of the season. Ruben Dias for me would be my player of the season this year as well.
Pretty much everyone has got him in his team this season, and rightly so. Him and John Stones are fantastic centre-back pairing in there. But this is a name that hasn't come up yet. Your next centre-back. Who's your second centre-back?
I was looking at the league table and I thought I have to put somebody in from United. So at first I've gone for Lindelof, and I've gone for Lindelof over Maguire because I can see a lot of people going for Maguire due to the fact that he's been an ever-present. He's, broken a record at United for longest appearances and consecutively. But I think that's overshadowed a player like Lindelof. I think that sort of took away the credit that he's deserved in keeping Man United in second spot. So he's sort of gone in there. I've sort of put him in as an unsung hero. From a United perspective, so yeah, I think he deserves a shout because there's a lot of media talk, Maguire and what he's done and the things that happened on holiday, etc. So everything that Maguire does says, it's pretty much there. Lindelof goes under the radar, and I think he's a decent centre back, and I think he'd work pretty well with Ruben Dias.
Yeah, interesting shout that. The first time that's come up, I thought, yeah, decent shout. We'll move out onto the left-hand side. Then, who's gone for at left back?
I've had to go for Luke Shaw. I don't think there's been any more solid of a left back this season. For me, I mean, I could have given a shout to Andy Robertson. I really could have. I don't think I'm not sure if I've even picked a Liverpool player in my player of the season. So if there is any Liverpool fans watching, I apologise. But yeah, towards the back end of the season, Andy Robertson for me looked like he was like last season had sort of took its toll on him, and this season it was a bit difficult. Luke Shaw for me has stepped up to the plate and shown the qualities of that he can achieve. There were rumours years back that he's too overweight, he can't play at left back, he's not good enough for the likes of Manchester United. And he stood out in that team. So fair play to Wally and all his staff to getting him up to scratch, and that can only be beneficial for us heading into the Euros.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean Luke Shaw and Aaron Creswell are the two that are standing out for people this season. Yeah, Luke Shaw, fantastic, proving the doubters wrong. That is for sure. But very good player and a very good back four. Let's admit it. But we'll move on into the midfield then. We'll start with your two central midfielders. Who's your first though?
Right, so we'll start with West Ham's main man for me this season, Thomas Souček. He's been remarkable, absolutely remarkable. I don't even, if I had to sum it up in one word, remarkable would be it. There's no other way of putting it. It was tough to choose between either him or Rice, but I think he's just stood out with his play. Obviously, Rice has been injured recently. That's another reason why I didn't put Cresswell in. Pardon me, due to injuries. But Souček, again, when people ask questions, as I go back to the Ruben Dias being my player of the season, Souček, this is his first sort of proper season as a West Ham player. It was a loan last year, wasn't it?
Yes,
so for me,
yeah.
Souček has to be the signing of the season, in my opinion. Absolutely phenomenal. It's his second season, and he's just been class again. As I say, when his loan was up at the end of last season, he was a player that I thought, right, Burnley, sniff in there, get him, grab him.
Mm-hmm.
But he's, Burnley are too slow with that stuff. They're still probably drawing on a notepad. So we can't even do anything. But no, he's showing his credentials, and it wouldn't surprise me. Give it another year, maybe two, and he'll probably get a big money move somewhere.
I mean, you say probably West Ham player of the season. We've had so many players in with a shout of it. Creswell could be in with a shout of it.
Yeah.
Souček, Rice, Soufal, Ogbonna, Craig Dawson for the latter part of the season. There's just so many players that have been fantastic for us this season. But right, this is where things start to light up now. Who's your second central midfielder?
I couldn't give it to anybody else other than Phil Foden. He's had a remarkable season. Again, I'm going to say remarkable too much in this, aren't I? He's been amazing. I'll change it. He's been amazing. For a young lad to step into a team like that, again, you're going to have your doubters. Well, I could step into a team like that with all that class around me and pull out a wonder game. All I have to do is make a pass, and that's it. It's like, oh, look at this new kid. I can understand why people say things like that, but it's not just that. It's his contribution, his all-round play, the fact that he brings others into play. It's really helped, and it's pushed Man City on. And I just, again, another one that's got a bright future ahead of him, and also maybe not this year in the Euros, but in a couple of tournaments time, we could be talking about him being one of the players that is lifting a European tournament cup for us. Yeah,
and the future is really, really bright for England, as we've got Mason Mount, Declan Rice, Phil Foden, that midfield. That will be exceptional.
It's scary, isn't it?
Yeah, it is scary. Yeah, and it's almost the Man City side as well is scary because if you look at that, Harry Kane perhaps coming in this summer, Phil Foden, Harry Kane, De Bruyne, Sterling. I mean, Sterling's been awful this season, but you can keep reading them off. That's just a few off the top of my head. But yeah, Man City, a scary side, and it could be really, really good for our England hopes in the next few years. But we will move out onto the right-hand side then, and the flair and the fantasticness, I don't even know whether that's a word, continues out onto the right-hand side. Who's your right midfielder?
To be honest, I've completely forgot who I picked for my right-hand side. That's the one. Rafinha. To be fair, I can't believe I actually forgot. I had to give a shout-out to Leeds, to be fair. They are a team that have really, really impressed a lot of people this season. I don't like to admit it. I'm not going to admit it because that's not the case. They're not my second team. I can't stand Leeds. I haven't got a second team. I'm a Burnley fan and that's it. But when commentators say about a second team, and I think based on how they play football, how, just the Bielsa way it works, it's brilliant. And it's worked for Leeds this season. They've done really well. The thing that doesn't scare me with Leeds, because I hope it does happen, similar to Sheffield United, they go down. But I hope they have that one good season and then sort of falter, and then everyone's back at laugh at Leeds. But no, Rafinha, he's another one that could make a move this summer. In my opinion, he's been linked to a few clubs. He's been a decent signing, so I had to stick him in there for that. It was decent to pick a right mid because, to be fair, I was going to move the person I've picked at left mid to the right to accommodate somebody else on the left, but I thought I'm just going to go with some unorthodox players that may not get as much a mention, but deserve a bit of credit after the season they've had.
Yeah, I agree. I think with Leeds and Rafinha, I think they'll keep hold of these players for at least another season. I think because if they can continue their form and perhaps push for Europe, they are a really, really good side. The first player, the first time this player has come up next over on the left hand side. This brought a smile to my face. We don't know about his future, but who've you got out on the left?
The man, Jay Lings. I can't believe I've just done that. That's going to be memed. Honest to God, he's been a sensation since joining you guys. Absolute sensation. He's come in. He knows he's got to. He knows he had to work. That's the thing as well. He knows he had to rebuild his career. The paper talk, everything else. That could have ruined a player. That can ruin somebody, especially with how mental health is at the moment. And everyone was just saying, "Oh, you're a TikToker, you're a dancer, you don't do anything. Your football career is finished." Me included was a bit like, "Do people have a point? Do people have a point?" And he's gone out and proved people like me and proved all the other doubters completely wrong. That he deserves to be in there. He has worked not just hard to be able to be playing Premier League football, but he's worked hard to get himself back into that England setup. And it's remarkable for one player over just the course of a season, and the fact that David Moyes has got that out of him it's just phenomenal. And he's been obviously pretty much a key player to where you've finished this season. And I hope you guys can keep hold of him and kick him on because it's only good for, like we say, for the English game.
Yeah, we were. Fans are starting to doubt whether he's going to sign for West Ham. I know he put his Gamely Instagram post out, and Declan Rice put in the comments, "I'm going to miss you, brother." We don't know. His future is very uncertain, but let's hope that we can get it. We can get it over the line. I just hope it's Man United saying no, we want him back, not our board being a bit tight with their money. I do hope it's not that. But just before Dan reveals his strike force, I'd like to thank our sponsors for this series. It's the Blowing Bubbles magazine. You can check the link in the description down below. And if you use the discount code JCOX at checkout when you buy a yearly subscription of 11 magazines, you can get a £5 off using that discount code at checkout. So it's worth checking out using the link in the description. All information is down there as well. So thank you very much to them as well. But we will get into your strike force then. And who is your first striker, Dan?
I'm going to go for another one that I don't think a lot of people will have gone for, and I'm going to go for Iheanacho at Leicester. I think the back end of this season, a lot of people have asked questions about Iheanacho. When he made the move to Leicester, people questioned that why have City let him go? But we've seen this with Leicester, that they've turned a striker like Jamie Vardy into one of the best strikers that the Premier League's seen. And on the basis of the form of Iheanacho at the end of this season, he scored some really vital goals and kept him in that hunt. Without him at the moment, they probably would have faltered off and maybe even just ended up in a top 10 place, not fighting for anything. Okay. So I do have to give it to him because he has helped Leicester, without sounding disrespectful to Leicester, overachieve in that sense. Because without his goals, they would have potentially have, I mean, it's decent from a striker that you don't expect to get 12 goals in a season because you expect it from Vardy every year. But he's come in, stepped up to the plate, and fair play to him. He's done a remarkable job. Again, remarkable.
And that's off 25 games as well. 12 goals off 25 games. So it's not like he's played all the games. That's a goal every other game. But he's really excelled in this second part of the season, as you said. Now the last name, I thought, yeah, this is a decent shout as well. I'd say probably 2/3 or 3/4 of it of people who've done this have picked at least Harry Kane or Mo Salah as their strike force, or at least they're in their side. But who have you gone for your final striker?
I've gone for Edison Cavani. I can understand why people have gone for Kane. The reason I didn't go for Kane is just purely on the basis of, at the moment, you're hearing more stories about Kane and his move, Kane this, Kane that. It's not even about his goals at the moment. People are saying, why would you pay over 100 million for somebody that's got glass ankles? Why would you want to be doing that? He's cropped. Don't get me wrong, he's an outstanding striker. I mean, any club that he goes to will have gained a top player.
Yeah.
Whether he's injured or not. And the fact that he's adapted his game by dropping deeper to invite more people in, just, it'll excite any club, and I think it would work at somewhere like Manchester City. So yeah, unfortunately, sorry Harry Kane, but you've not made it, mate. But Cavani, again, he's adapted to the Premier League ridiculously quickly. People didn't think, United fans didn't think he was going to stay on another season. He has, and it's his age as well. Like, for a player that's sort of well grounded in the foreign leagues to sort of come over to England and put your stamp on it has been decent enough. Okay, Bruno Fernandes and all that stuff, blah blah blah. Another player that I could have put in there, but I just thought, I'm not doing it just on the basis of he dives half of the time and I don't like him. But yeah, I've gone with him, so it gives me 3 United players. I've got 3 West Ham players, if you want to include Jesse Lingard. I've technically then been cheeky with 4 United players, if you, in a way, and 3 City. But yeah, I just like Cavani as a player. I think, again, he's like a ever so less arrogant Ibrahimovic. Like, he sort of lets Ibrahimovic will let you know and will put it out in media, I'm going to destroy you. Where Edison Cavani will just go in the game, head down, and go, right, I'm going to score 2 past you, I don't care. But he's not. Yeah. He's not. I can understand why people prefer Ibrahimovic, because they find it funny. They find it like, this guy's a bit of a cheeky get, but he gets away with it, and he backs it up. Where Cavani doesn't speak it, but he backs it up with goals and things like that. And he's been another one that's key for United this season. So I had to put him in there.
Yeah, I agree. Fantastic player, and has done really well and proved some more doubters wrong. Right, this is the first person, I'm probably going to be the last, who's picked 2 managers now. So the floor is yours.
Right, now I've picked 2 managers on the basis of, Jake asked me to pick a 4-4-2, and if I had to pick somebody to manage a 4-4-2, I have to look at Sean Dyche himself, because he's missed a 4-4-2, and if I didn't pick Sean Dyche, I'd have to go for Mark Bassett, and he's not even a real manager. So I had to pick Sean Dyche on the basis of, he knows how a 4-4-2 works. He would get that team playing. However, that said, manager of the season has to go, and I don't understand why people say Pep Guardiola, because he's gone in there and it just annoys me. So sod you, Pep. It's David Moyes.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, and it's just quite a few people are picking Pep, and I can kind of see why. But a couple of people have said when they've come on, me and you and the guy down the road could probably manage Man City, and they'd be up there, because look at their squad, it's ridiculous. They spent 50 million quid on a young up-and-coming centre-back in Nathan Ake, who came in a couple of weeks ago as a bit of a backup because they needed a rest, honestly. we keep on saying it, but Man City is ridiculous.
Yeah, the difference I put down is that Pep, for me, had his best days were at Barcelona. He brought players up from the B team, turned them into first team players. He was at that time going through, he managed to he cut the likes of Ronaldinho out of that side, and changed everything up. And it worked for him, and that's why he got that. But then from Barcelona, he's gone into Bayern Munich, where he had a squad that was capable of winning leagues season after season.
Yeah.
And now he's come to Manchester City, where they've sort of started a dominance. And all he's done is have to spend, a couple of billion on some defence, but that's just pocket money to them. And it's, it's worked. It's worked for him, but it's bound to work for him because of the players that he's got at his disposal. David Moyes, and I've said this to a few people now, he's been at West Ham. And West Ham fans will tell you it didn't work out the first time, or it wasn't pretty to watch. It wasn't pleasant. There was obviously everything going off the field and things like that. It was a bit of a turmoil situation. To be fair, fans would even say when he was reappointed, "What the bleep is going on here?"
Yeah.
Why have you reappointed someone when it didn't work the first time? That's like having your girlfriend cheat on you and then getting back with her. You just wouldn't do it. You wouldn't do it because you know that she's capable of doing it again. So the thing is, I'm happy for Moyes because it's worked out for him, and he deserves a good crack at it because he was a brilliant manager at Everton. I think he probably would have done a decent job at United given the time. If he was given the similar time to how Fergie were, because Fergie got a lot of time as well because he was close to the chop at one point. And I think if he got the time like Fergie did, then he would have been there. But United wanted quick fixes. They wanted somebody to come in and it be all hunky-dory, still winning titles, keep the noisy neighbours quiet. But that wasn't the case. So, yeah, for David Moyes to even have the balls to take the West Ham job back and succeed, he has to go down as manager of the season.
He has. Completely bang on with everything you said there. And we thought he's just coming back to kind of save us in a way, save us from relegation and probably bring someone in. But, what he's done. I think I mean, it hasn't all been pretty this season, and I think all West Ham fans will say that, especially between December and January. We were getting these 1-0 wins every now and then, and it wasn't pretty. But to be honest, I don't think any West Ham fan cared whatsoever. Absolutely fantastic. I think most fans will say signings. Signings are probably one of his best things he's done so far at West Ham. I mean, the players he's brought in, £5 million. That's chips. That's chips in football for Vladimir Coufal. And, the transfer window, the rumours are already starting, and we've been linked with 2 more Czech Republic players in the last week, and I could see it. I could really see it happening. But David Moyes, what a man. But just to recap Dan's team then, so in goal, he's got Edison with the back four of Coufal, Diaz, Lindelof and Shaw, 2 central midfielders of Souček and Phil Foden, Rafinha on the left, Rafinha on the right, Jay Lings out on the left, and then a strike force of Kelechi Iheanacho and Edison Cavani. Not a bad team that are managed by, take your pick, Sean Dyche or David Moyes. Not a bad side that, Dan.
No, I'll let them argue for who's the top boss and who's the assistant.
Oh, there we go. Anyway, thank you very much for coming on, and thank you very much for all of you watching as well. We'll be back with another video very, very soon from me coming on. Thank you very much, Dan. And we'll see you next time. Good.
No problem.